Welcome to my channel. Today I'm discussing the value of reason in the Stoic philosophies of Epictetus and Aurelius. This ancient Greek and Roman philosophical school of thought argued that reason is the principal Stoic virtue which leads to understanding oneself and how to navigate life. I'll explain their views on nature and reason, their Stoic practice of using reason to gain rationality, and the idea that reason is the principal Stoic virtue. So, stay tuned to learn more. Philosophers have long pondered the concept of virtue and the role of reason in achieving it. Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, two Stoic philosophers, believed that virtue is attained by understanding nature and one's own place in it. In this video, we will first explain their views on nature and reason. Secondly, their Stoic practice of using reason to gain rationality will be addressed. Lastly, the idea that reason is the principal Stoic virtue will be argued, as it leads to understanding oneself and how to navigate life. Epictetus' philosophy, nature and reason. Epictetus believed that nature was orderly, rational, and divinely providential, with events in people's lives not completely in their control. He argued that those who live according to how nature has fixed them to exist, without veering away from that understanding, are able to better master themselves and find contentment. Reason was seen as a precious gift, enabling people to be authentic, moral, and ethically ascend to a higher understanding of nature. In Epictetus' view, reason allows people to understand the natural order and to live in a genuine and ethical way. Reason helps people to become virtuosos of their humanity, accept fate, and focus on self-cultivation. It also helps them to remain clear-minded and level-headed, and to live in a way that reflects the impersonal power of life. Reason enables people to live ethically, handling both good and bad times in a balanced and non-excessive way, appreciating nature and its divine providence. The idea is that understanding nature and its divine providence is essential for cultivating one's reason. According to Stoic philosopher Epictetus, nature is orderly and rational, and is guided by a divine providence. By understanding the laws of nature and its processes, one is able to appreciate the divine essence behind the universe and its operations. By recognizing that nature determines the conditions of life, and that people as its products are not completely free, one can develop a higher understanding of nature and its divine providence. This understanding can lead to an ethical disposition that is needed to endure all that life may bring. Recognizing one's lack of complete control over life. Epictetus taught that true contentment and peace of mind comes from recognizing our lack of control over life and focusing instead on the things that we do have control over, such as our thoughts, attitudes, and actions. He famously said, "We are disturbed not by things, but by the view which we take of them." Therefore, it is important to remember that while we cannot control our external circumstances, we can control our response to them. Cultivating reason to live authentically. According to Epictetus, the best way to cultivate reason and live authentically is to live a life of self-discipline and self-mastery, focusing on the things within your control and developing an inner strength that is not easily swayed by external events. Additionally, Epictetus encourages us to cultivate an attitude of gratitude, recognizing the blessings in our life and using them to our advantage. By cultivating reason and living authentically, we can become more mindful and aware of our thoughts and actions and make better decisions that will ultimately lead to our own happiness and fulfillment. Utilizing reason to achieve ethical living. Epictetus taught that living ethically requires reason, which he considered to be the highest form of knowledge. Reason, he argued, should be used to guide our behavior and to help us make moral decisions. He believed that by using reason, we can determine the right course of action in any situation and develop an understanding of what is truly important in life. He further argued that by utilizing reason, we can practice self-control, self-discipline, and develop a sense of inner peace. Ultimately, Epictetus believed that living ethically meant living in harmony with nature, and that reason was the key to achieving this goal. Aurelius' philosophy, nature and reason. Marcus Aurelius believed it was in people's power to be good or bad, and that living ethically involves being genuine and true to oneself. He thought living in an ingenuine way was unethical, as it defied nature and led to hardships. He argued that people should live with reason and imitate nature, as it would lead to inner awareness and spiritual freedom. He believed people should practice virtues such as temperance, dutifulness, and fulfilling their role in life to be the best they can be and activate the spark of providence within them. Imitate nature. According to Aurelius's Stoic philosophy, the best way to imitate nature is to live according to what is righteous and ethical by being genuine and true to oneself. This means living with an attitude of detachment from the realities of life, while cultivating an appreciation for the natural order and its laws. Additionally, individuals must strive to master their responses to life by practicing temperance, being dutiful, and refraining from slander. Finally, by respecting the mind and engaging in conceptualizing, individuals can become the clearest conduits for the divine providence of nature and ultimately reach a state of holiness, inner awareness, and spiritual freedom. Rationality of the natural order. Rationality of the natural order is based on the idea that the universe runs according to the dictates of an orderly and structured providence, and thus, what is natural is rational and what is rational is natural. Therefore, because the cosmos unfolds in a comprehensible way, and thus displays rationality, it is the case that people as part of that natural order necessarily possess reason too. By being innately rational, Aurelius believes that people who live by reason are in tune, or at one with who they are, since they are not only recognizing but also participating in, and copying, the higher immaterial aspects of the universe. Ultimately, people should focus on mastering their abilities to reason so that they can live peacefully for themselves, and not please or burden other individuals. Mastering responses to life's realities. Mastering responses to life's realities is a key component of living an ethical life. This means that regardless of the hardships or good that come into one's life, one must cultivate an attitude of detachment from it and not be swayed by the wants or opinions of others. In order to do this, one must use their rational capacities to live a life of truth and moderation while fulfilling the role that the divine has assigned to them. Doing so will allow them to be in tune with their true selves and thus activate the spark of providence within them. Ultimately, this will lead to a holiness, inner awareness, and spiritual freedom, since nothing bad can come from living virtuously. Cultivating an attitude of detachment. Cultivating an attitude of detachment means remaining unfazed by life's happenings and focusing on mastering one's ability to respond to life's realities in a Spartan and humble way. This is the proper way to deal with reality and is seen as a higher ethic, since it is not only rational and natural, but also focused on the cultivation of one's true self. By being innately rational and copying the impersonality of the universe, people who live by this ethic are in tune with who they are and thus expressing the divinity of nature. Ultimately, this attitude of detachment is seen as a way to live life peacefully and contently, as it is argued that nothing bad can come from being virtuous. The Road to Rationality through Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius. Imagining the worst to build resilience. Epictetus and Aurelius both emphasize the importance of imagining the worst that can happen to foster a greater resilience and understanding of life. To both Stoic philosophers, picturing the worst allows one to become desensitized to it, as well as creating a sense of preparedness in the event that the worst occurs. By picturing the worst, one builds a strength of character and a greater capacity to reason. Imagining the worst helps one to visualize and understand the impermanence of life and to accept the ever-changing nature of the universe. It also allows one to develop a greater appreciation for the present moment and to be more mindful of the present. In addition, the practice of imagining the worst strengthens the virtue of patience, as one must be able to wait and accept the natural flow of life, no matter what the outcome may be. Finally, picturing the worst allows one to develop a greater sense of self-awareness, as one must be able to reflect on one's own strengths and weaknesses in order to survive and thrive in the face of adversity. By practicing this skill, one can become more attuned to their own emotions, as well as the emotions of those around them. Living in the present moment. Living in the present moment is a highly valued concept. It involves focusing on the present, rather than worrying about the past or future. This practice allows for an unbiased analysis of one's current situation, which can lead to a more rational understanding of life. It is also a sign of humility, since it acknowledges the preciousness of life, and greatness, since it requires dedication and determination. Finally, living in the present moment is a way to discover one's purpose, which is to play the role that nature has assigned with the best of one's abilities. Discovering one's purpose. The journey to discovering one's purpose can be an arduous one, but every step taken is a step towards self-discovery and enlightenment. We all have a unique role to fulfill in this world, and it is up to us to discover what that is. By focusing on the present moment and living authentically, we can access our power to reason and uncover our deeper truth. Our purpose is embedded in our innate nature, and to access it, we must be willing to embrace our place in the grand scheme of things. By engaging in this process of self-discovery, we can truly find our purpose and take meaningful steps towards living a life of joy and fulfillment. Embracing one's role. Living according to one's role in nature is not only a way to achieve greater understanding and clarity, but also a way to find contentment and inner peace. Through embracing one's role, we can experience life as it was intended and move closer to our true selves. It is not easy to accept one's role, but it is a challenge worth taking if we are to live a meaningful and fulfilled life. Once we commit to living a life of reason and truth, we will find that our path is illuminated by wisdom and understanding. Embracing our role in life is the first step towards experiencing a life of harmony and balance. Reason as the greatest virtue. By applying reason to our daily lives, we cultivate a sense of clarity and wisdom that is necessary for a meaningful existence. Reason, when embraced, allows us to live life with purpose and helps us to recognize our true and unique role in the universe. Reason enables us to understand our place in the world and to find peace and contentment in our lives. Reason is the highest form of virtue, as it allows us to accept our realities and to live life with courage, optimism, and hope. Cultivating reason is the best way to ensure a life of joy, understanding, and harmony. Final thoughts. Epictetus and Aurelius saw reason as the greatest virtue, since it leads to self-awareness, self-reflection, self-knowledge, and self-mastery, and allows for living in a way that is in accordance with nature. Reason also provides the necessary tools for cultivating rational and emotional autonomy and leads to a state of moderate detachment from the world while still being connected to it. Reason is also important to them because it is the means to unbiasedness and can help to better deal with life's realities. Lastly, being rational is the greatest skill, as it allows one to be most at home with their true self and to honor nature as sacred.